Just recently, the Valis Undermine released for Warframe, an update that introduced an entire new area to the game called the Deep Mines. The Deep Mines are sort of a semi-open world area that you can complete bounties in. Bounties assigned by a new character called Nightcap. And while Nightcap is going to be a subject of today's video, we're going to do everything we can to dive in and learn everything there is to learn about the mushroom-covered Australian. Well, I don't think Australia exists in the Warframe world, or at least if it did, it definitely doesn't now, so it's not entirely accurate to call Nightcap Australian. Alright, today we're going to go ahead and dive as deep as we can into the story of Nightcap, the mushroom-covered Solaris citizen. Nightcap is the mission handler and vendor for all things involving the Valis Undermine. He has his own brand new syndicate called, well, you're not going to believe this, it's called Nightcap. It's basically a solo syndicate, so not even a syndicate actually. So essentially, getting standing with the Nightcap syndicate is just becoming better friends with Nightcap himself. You level up your syndicate ranking by collecting different types of mushrooms in the deep mines, and then turning them over to Nightcap, which causes you to level up your field guide, and alongside that, your ranking. Nightcap actually has a completely unique way of ranking up, and it's really cool. Not to mention that you can rank up at your own pace. There's no syndicate standing daily max here. Nightcap himself enthusiastically defends the deep mines from Nef-Anio's constant incursions into it, and he recruits you to do the same, pledging to protect the wildlife there, as well as helping out captured Corpus slaves who may have been sent into the deep mines against their will to do whatever work, Nef-Anio's having them do. Alongside Nightcap is a unique mushroom called the Prince, who Nightcap is convinced is the key to restoring order within the deep mines. However, there's incredibly little evidence or lore that we currently have available that shows what the Prince really is or what he does. However, feeding the Prince Fergolite, the currency you earn from completing Nightcap bounties, will reveal hints at the past of Nightcap and how he met Noko, the newest Warframe that was added in the Valis Undermine update. Almost everything that we currently know about Nightcap is revealed to us by the Prince, who sends us on essentially insane acid trips that tell Nightcap's story after we feed him Fergolite. Well, let's get into it. Also, by the way, I'll put the information in chronological order as it happened, so some things that we may have learned in the green path might be in my purple path section because they provide context for one another. So just be aware of that. The first path that you can unlock is the purple path, which you can get for feeding the Prince 20 Fergolite. And yes, I apologize. I'm fairly certain that I've pronounced Fergolite wrong every single time that I've said it. So my bad. After feeding the Prince, you get teleported to a strange world with lots of purple hues. Along with that, you become a small little mushroom with a fat ass. And as you bounce around along the path forward, you hear Nightcap speak. Seemingly, you're hearing him act out scenes that had happened in his past. On the purple path, Nightcap is speaking to someone, seemingly a co-worker, about accepting Nef-Anio's job listing to enter the deep mines and begin exterminating the fungal colonies there. Nef-Anio needs the mushrooms removed so he can build a Corpus zoos, huge laboratories, and even perhaps a palace hidden away underground from all his rivals so he can live in it in complete safety. Nightcap and his Solaris companions are told by the Corpus that the mushrooms that they were exterminating were some sort of experiment gone wrong by the Orcan, back when they ruled the galaxy. Based on the hate for the Orcan Empire still prevalent in the Origin system, to this day, that fib likely made lots of Solaris members eager to sign up for extermination crews. You're telling me that they get to get paid well, by Solaris standards, and take out evil Orcan leftover experiments? Why wouldn't you want to sign up for that? After Nightcap convinces some of his Solaris friends to sign up, they get into the deep mines and begin doing their job exterminating the mushrooms, with one of Nightcap's co-workers mentioning that he saw a kid down there. Nightcap brushes this off at first because he found it incredibly hard to believe that there would be any kids in a place as hostile as the deep mines. Sometime later, while exterminating some mushrooms, it sounds like their self-defense mechanisms activated and shot a huge cloud of spores into the air, causing the Solaris working there to flee the scene. After this initial intake of spores, Nightcap can be heard regularly coughing throughout the rest of the purple path, insinuating that he was possibly infected by the mushroom spores, which is what may have led to him literally being covered in mushrooms now, with them growing out of him. At the end of the purple path, Nightcap remarks that he saw the kid as well, and then yells at the child to stop messing with his gear. Of course, the kid he's referring to is the newest Warframe, Noko, but based on Nightcap's remarks, he hadn't got a good look at Noko yet, because, well, it's pretty obvious that Noko isn't just some traditional Solaris kid. I mean, he's made of mushrooms. Honestly, I'm not sure how they ever got him confused for a kid, especially since he's barely shorter than Nightcap when you stand next to him anyway, as Noko. Maybe it's because of the giggles they heard, and that we heard throughout the purple path, that signaled that Noko was messing with their equipment. But I don't know about you guys, but if I saw a weird shadow humanoid figure messing with my equipment in dark and creepy mines, and it was giggling at me, I'm getting the hell out of there and finding a new job. But Nightcap's built different, I guess.
Don't listen to that trash, mate. Corporate just wants a little fungal remediation is all. Get in, get out, get paid. Easy credits. Right. Something messing with our gear. Sure you ain't been snacking on these mushrooms, mate? Job sure would be easier if these mushrooms weren't so mucking pretty to look at.
Watch the spores! Get back to the airlock, you muckers! Run!
What the hell is that?
Hey! Oh, for soul's sake! Who let a mucking kids out here? Hey! Get back here! Stop mucking about with our gear!
The next path that we're going to talk about is the blue path. And throughout this path, Nightcap learns more about the mines, the fungi there, and of course learns more about Noko. At the very beginning of the path, we hear Nightcap scolding the kid for spilling all of the accelerant out of his equipment, setting him back and stopping him from completing his job of exterminating the fungi around him. In case you don't know what accelerant is, it's basically used in every flame weapon in Warframe, and it's also Ember's old 2 ability that would increase all fire damage dealt. At some point after this, Noko and Nightcap start a regular dialogue, and apparently interact with each other more and more. This leads to Nightcap getting a soft spot for Noko, despite Noko constantly impeding his work. Noko does act very childlike, so I mean it would be kind of hard to actually try to kill him or exterminate him, so instead they just hung out together, and Nightcap put up with this constant harassment, and that's even how Noko got his name, by the way. Noko is short for No Corporations, since Noko's whole purpose was to stop the Corpus and Nef from moving into the deep mines. After a while, Nightcap realizes the importance of the deep mines, or more specifically, the fungal colonies that populate it. The fungi feed off the massive coolant towers that are all over Venus, which helps keep the planet livable. Now, in case you don't know, these massive cooling towers are what make Venus so cold and harsh. However, without them, Venus would be scorching hot and would literally instantly kill anyone who was on its surface. Well, normal people at least. I'm sure a Warframe could still go on Venus like no problem, but that's not the point. The point is that these cooling towers are extremely important, but also extremely polluting. Without the mushroom colonies consuming the waste of these cooling towers, there would be disastrous side effects, and potentially one of them could even be the failure of the towers themselves, causing Venus to return to its unlivable scorching climate. Because of this realization, Nightcap quits working for Nefanyo and refuses to exterminate any more mushrooms, much to the delight of Noko and to the anger of his employer, Nefanyo. Nefanyo declares that anyone who refuses to continue the job will be severely punished. And well, Nightcap says, hell no, I'm not destroying these mushrooms, you bitch, and my new friend Noko. Now, I'm not sure if Nefanyo knows what would happen to the surface of Venus if he destroyed the mushrooms, since it doesn't make a ton of sense why he would cause the destruction of the surface of Venus, which is his biggest moneymaker. It's also possible, though very unlikely, so take this with a grain of salt, the mushrooms really don't do anything, and the spores infected Nightcap and tricked him into helping protect the deep mines. Like I said, there's no evidence for this. I'm just saying it's possible that Nightcap was tricked into betraying Nephanio, because there's also no evidence the mushrooms actually helped the coolant towers. Anyway, maybe Nephanio doesn't care about the surface and just wants a secret cool base below the surface that's nearly impossible to get to, since the surface would be so dangerous to live on after, it became scorching hot. Who knows? Regardless, Nightcap goes against orders and shuts down the elevator into the deep mines to try and stop any more Solaris and Corpus workers from entering the mines and killing the mushrooms there. Obviously shutting down the entire mines enraged Nephanio, and this is what leads us into the next path, the green path.
Oh, you little mucker! You dumped me marking accelerant! Oh. Smart little mucker. No corporate. No code. No code, yeah. I'm gonna call you No Code. All this fungi, eh? I swear it's filtering the waste from the towers. You take the fungi away and Venus goes all fire and brimstone.
It has come to my attention that some Solaris are refusing work orders in the deep mines. Such insubordination will be dealt with swiftly.
No, Mr. Anio, sir. Will not comply. I'm shutting down the elevator. Nothing more goes up, nothing more comes down. So, learn anything? Or is that all nonsense?
The final path that we get to witness is the green path. And well, this one gets pretty crazy. The first thing Nightcap says in this path is, well, look at you, Noko. You ain't some leftover freak that some Oregon mucker made in the lab. This is what I was talking about in the first path, purple, that they were told all the mushrooms were a leftover Oregon experiment. However, the next thing Nightcap says is also strange on this path. He says, don't know how or why, but somewhere along the line, you became the roots and fruits. Now this is creepy in my opinion. A very interesting line, but creepy. Because it implies one of two things. One is that the mushrooms literally grew Noko to protect them. Maybe just modeled them after the Solaris that were attacking. So he looks human-shaped, kind of. However, the more interesting thought process and idea to me is that Noko used to just be a normal child and ended up getting lost in the deep mines. Maybe he ate the mushrooms to survive, since there obviously isn't much safe food there, and he probably letting them to sleep since it'd be more comfortable than the cold hard ground. This slowly probably morphed him into a mushroom himself over time, in some sort of horrifying way. I mean, it's not unlikely, because we are literally seeing Nightcap turn into a mushroom in front of our own very eyes. Our very own eyes. But yeah, that would just be a really cool piece of lore if Noko used to be a kid that got lost in the mines, and slowly got turned into its guardian. But also kind of dark. After Nightcap realizes what Noko is, Nephanio can be heard angrily commenting that he should have sent Corpus to the deep mines instead of the Solaris. After this, Nightcap tells Noko to watch out, and then they are seemingly attacked by the Corpus entering the mines. After this attack begins, Nightcap realizes what must be done, and he blows up the entire mine shaft leading into the deep mines, to ensure that no one can ever enter or leave again. Or well, at least not enter for a while, because obviously the Corpus are getting in currently, but I'm sure it set him back some years. Now locked underground with nothing but himself and his friend Noko, Nightcap just kind of has to live out his life. Unfortunately, Prince showed us that his life probably didn't last that long, and Nightcap ultimately passed away in a bed of mushrooms while Noko looked over him. And that is how the green path ends.
Well, look at you, Noko. You ain't some leftover freak that some Oregon mucker made in the lab. Don't know how or why, but somewhere along the line, you became the roots and fruits.
should have never sent Solaris to do the job of Corvus.
Nightcap, they're coming. I'm blowing the mine shaft. No more coming in, no more getting out.
Just you and me now, kid. Okay, okay. Your garden is safe. It's getting dark now, okay? I don't think I can help you much longer. Goodbye. Okay. You're trying to tell me that I, good old Nightcap, died down here ages ago? You better be careful. The prince can play tricks on you. He's a funny fella, just like Noko. But you gotta keep your head on straight. Trust me, you ain't careful, this place will turn you all sorts of funny.
Now, an interesting thing is that we literally see Nightcap die in the prince's callbacks that he sends us through. However, Nightcap obviously isn't dead, and he even comments on what we saw, saying, "You're trying to tell me that I, good old Nightcap, died down here ages ago?" And then he informs us that it was just the prince playing tricks on us. Now, let's be honest. I'm fairly certain that the prince was indeed not playing tricks on us. However, I guess that is technically a possibility. What's much more likely is that the same thing that happened to Noko happened to Nightcap, with the mushrooms taking over their bodies once they died. Now, it's unclear if they're still themselves, or if the mushrooms are simply imitating them after taking their bodies to better protect itself. In all honesty, there's potential for the lore around the deep mines to get incredibly dark if DE chooses to go down that path. I mean, I don't think they will, in my honest opinion. Because in my honest opinion, the mushrooms simply revived Nightcap and granted his conscience back to him. Once again, though, there's a possibility that Nightcap is literally a corpse being puppeted by the mushrooms, and the mushrooms are evil. But I really don't see DE going down that path, which is kind of unfortunate because that would be an incredible plot twist in my own personal opinion. Let me know what you guys think about that down in the comments below. Or tell me if I'm just being too edgy and stupid if you think that. I'm just saying, though, it took them, they made them puppets to better protect themselves. They're lying about the coolant towers. The mushrooms are actually the evil ones. They need to be stopped. Nefanyo isn't an idiot and he isn't going to ruin the whole planet of Venus. It would be a crazy plot twist is all I'm saying. It's not going to happen. It's not true, but I'm just saying it'd be a cool plot twist. In reality, the mushrooms just revived them and probably gave their conscience back to them after they died. But I'm just saying. Alright guys, that's almost everything there is to know about Nightcap, except maybe some extremely minor details. Let me know in the comments below if you think I missed out on something, or if you found something completely new about Nightcap on your own. One thing I know I didn't really cover that much is that if you go to Nightcap as Noko, he will have some unique dialogue for you, but it's not super important. Let me know what you guys think about Nightcap, and if any of my theories about him are correct, or if you have any of your own theories that you might think have a chance at being correct as well. So far, I like Nightcap as a character, but we absolutely need a ton more lore around him, and hopefully we get to learn a lot more about his past here in the future, right? The near future. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Huge shout out to my wonderful members supporting the channel, Slime King 5000 and Jay. You guys are absolutely amazing, and thank you to everyone else for making it this far into the video. Stay blessed, stay safe, and stay happy out there, guys. Goodbye.